there were still these few that were using AOL's dial-up service, and now they're discontinuing. So no more You've Got Mail. My name is Dr. Christopher Alley. I am the Pioneers Chair in Telecommunications and a Professor of Telecommunications at Penn State University. What AOL has announced is that they're going to wind down their dial-up internet service within the next month. And they still have tens of thousands, actually, of customers, which is pretty bonkers considering that we are at a time and an era of digital capacity where we're getting hundreds of times faster speed than what we got in 1995. Broadband access continues to be a major problem here in the United States. We know that somewhere between 24 million and 42 million Americans lack access to the internet at broadband speeds. And broadband speeds is a technical term that is 100 megabits per second download, 20 megabits per second upload. That's kind of what the Federal Communications Commission says, hey, this is what you need to have a standard broadband connection. So one of the concerns here is as AOL turns off its dial-up service, where are those tens of thousands of people going to be going for their internet service? We don't know a lot about them. Who are these people that were still using AOL? Did they not have another option, for instance? In which case, how are we going to get infrastructure to these people? Right now, fiber optics is the way to go. It's considered the gold standard of internet connectivity. The problem in a rural area is that fiber optics is really expensive to deploy. Some estimates say upwards of $27,000 a mile. And so in a major city, that's not a problem. You can recoup your investment, because it's so dense. In a rural area, that becomes that much more difficult. So that's why folks like myself and other researchers are really invested in the best ways to make sure that our rural areas are not left behind in the digital age. Telephone and electric cooperatives have been game changers in connecting their rural communities. And one of the reasons why is that they're willing to take a much longer return on investment because they're not shareholder owned, right? They're community owned. And so they see that investment in the fiber optics as an investment in their community. Another example would be municipal broadband. And this is what happens when a town or a county or a series of towns comes together to fund their own broadband network. Sometimes not only fund it, but even operate it as an internet service provider. It's not that they don't want it, they want it. They know what they're missing out on. And that adds to the sense of frustration and anger, and sometimes just feeling abandoned that they're not able to participate in the digital world as much as you and I just take it for granted. And so what I'm arguing for is that we really need to develop a lot more empathy in our public policy making and in our business practices to make sure that every community, regardless of income, regardless of location, is connected to the internet, because we all thrive when that's going to happen.